Good morning and welcome to another edition of United Way for Southeastern Michigan's What's the Word Wednesday. My name is Audrey Walker and today we are going to be hearing some updates on the Connect313 coalition and the work happening to increase access to affordable high-speed internet and devices in Detroit. The last 10 minutes of today's conversation are reserved for questions, so please leave your questions in the Q&A box if you're watching on Zoom or the comment box on Facebook. And now I'd like to give a warm welcome to Andre Ebron, United Way Senior Director of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. Good morning, Andre.
And good morning to you, Audrey. And hello to everyone tuning in with us today. My name is Andre Ebron, and I lead our Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion team here at United Way. And we're striving to transform the work we do in our community. This includes our recently completed 21-day Equity Challenge. We've also been working for the past year and a half to increase digital equity in our community, including joining with the Connect313 coalition, which has set an incredible goal of ensuring all Detroiters have equal access to devices, high-speed internet, and training. Most recently, the coalition has worked to educate residents about how they can access the emergency broadband benefit, which we're going to talk more about today. Today, I am thrilled to welcome Joshua Edmonds, Director of Digital Inclusion at the City of Detroit and head of the Connect313 Coalition. Back to our What's the Word Wednesdays Town Hall. Joshua is a longtime advocate for digital equity, working to help families in our region get access to internet and devices, creating strategies and funding dollars to advance digital inclusion for students, seniors, and low-income families. Joshua earned his master's in public policy from Howard University. I'm sure he would say HU at this point. Before his current role with the City of Detroit, he served in fellowships around digital inclusion in the Poverty Solutions Initiative at the University of Michigan's Ford School of Public Policy, as well as the Cleveland Foundation. He also worked on President Barack Obama's Connect Home initiative. Joshua, welcome again, and thank you for joining us to talk about this very important equity issue.
Well, thanks for having me, and thank you for that incredible bio. I appreciate that. Those were not my words, and I'm going to steal that bio, so thank you.
You're welcome, and welcome again. Thank you.
Absolutely, and I think when addressing the viewers and anyone in Detroit, really in Southeast Michigan, our work around Connect313 obviously would not happen without our residents, but also without our partners. And to the founding partners, obviously United Way for Southeast Michigan, thank you. In addition, the Rocket Community Fund, as well as Microsoft and the city, we've been able to form this collaborative around Connect313, which is really about bridging the digital divide through the aforementioned ways, such as emphasizing on internet access, technical support, digital literacy training, and getting everyone a computer that works best for them. Now, for the topic at hand today, when we're talking about the emergency broadband benefit, this is a federal initiative that was actually started in the middle of May. And actually, just yesterday, we had a team of all of our community partners who are signing up residents who are part of the Connect313 ecosystem. We actually had them meet with FCC leadership yesterday. And so the Federal Communications Commission is really housing this initiative, the Emergency Broadband Benefit. But what we've been able to do locally is stand up an entire operation. So I want to talk a little bit about our operation, because that's how we're serving residents, and that's how we're doing it in a partnership capacity. And so the start of this, and I think the number, if anyone's going to take anything from me, please, 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 I'm strongly just asking that we share the call center phone number that we are empowering families with to be able to call to take advantage of this benefit. That number is 313-241-7618. 313-241-7618. Put it in the chat, share it with your neighbors, share it with your churches and community groups. That is essentially what we've built here locally to be able to not only walk Detroiters through what they'll need to be able to enroll in that benefit process, but in addition to that, we also have an entire community partner organization structure where we can now triage and distribute residents accordingly as they're calling. So if you're a resident that's calling in any political district in Detroit, we have community centers that are dedicated to walking you through this process. Now, the emergency broadband benefit in itself is a $50 a month subsidy on your internet bill. And if you're going to ask about who qualifies for that, the qualifications are pretty large, such as anyone who is receiving or qualified to receive state or federal aid automatically qualifies for this program. Anyone who has experienced a significant loss of income qualifies. Anyone who has a child within Detroit Public Schools qualifies. It's a very, very wide criteria for selecting and engaging in this program. And quite frankly, on our end, we want to sign as many people up as possible for this. We recognize the effect of COVID, and this is why this is called the emergency broadband benefit, because honestly, when looking at COVID, we know what perpetual billing has done to people, as it significantly disenfranchised them. And as we look at our mission within Connect313, which is to have every single one of our households fully digitally included by 2024, we recognize the value of having internet access in a subsidized capacity today. And so when the FCC created this program, this was in May of this year, May 15th, they went live. And so by June, we actually had our call center up and running. Now, mind you, if we take a step back here, if you look at this program, this is a national program. So every single state, every single city, everyone is enrolling people in this. Detroit, when you're looking at the largest cities in the country, we actually rank third right now in signups. We are technically over-indexing. Most people don't expect us to do as well as what we're doing. I think that's actually a testament to our partners on this call today, testament to United Way, and everyone who's actually been able to lean in on this because we've been able to get the word out. And so it's not that I believe that we have to be first, though that is partially my ego talking. I'm also looking at the larger issue that if every single Detroiter who qualifies for this program does not enroll in this program or does not know about this program, well, then that's an indictment on us. And so it doesn't really matter. I mean, it's a great accolade, to be where we are. But at the end of the day, we're still on the wrong side of the digital divide. And if that's one family that's unconnected, it's one family too many. And so when we look at this program construction May 15th, since then, and us standing up this call center operation piece, we've done commercials. In addition to doing commercials, we have radio outlets on this. In addition to the one that we've done community partner training. As I mentioned earlier, we've literally invited the FCC leadership to sit down with us. And as we have, expressed concerns, this program is not perfect. And I don't necessarily want to act like it is. Some of the issues with the program are the sign-up process. And so what I would tell anyone who is giving word to folks who might be on the wrong side of the digital divide, who might not necessarily be as comfortable, allocate some time for this. There's been, some people have taken about 45 minutes to go through this application. I'm not saying that's a standard time. That's going to vary depending on, your digital savviness. But at the end of the day, as we are getting this word out, we need to make sure we're hand-holding folks who need this information, and we're doing it in a way that shows empathy as well as understanding, because there are some sensitive documents that folks are going to upload. You're going to have to upload if you're not necessarily receiving aid right now, but you qualify for federal or state aid. You're going to have to upload documentation that speaks to your ability to qualify for those things. And so I don't want to make it seem like it's a one-step process, which is why we have created our own call center. You go to any other community in this country right now, they're not going to have that local call center stood up. What other communities are doing right now is they'll say, hey, you can call the 1-800 number through the federal government. And there have been nightmare stories on that. There's been people who have been on hold for up to 2 hours waiting to talk to someone. Whereas here locally, we don't want that experience for Detroiters. We don't believe Detroiters deserve to be on hold that long. And so that's us stepping up and building that infrastructure that we deem to be appropriate for our residents. In addition to that call center piece, again, the community partners, I cannot overstate them enough. Through the Comcast lift zones, there are over 20 lift zones in the city of Detroit. These are community nonprofits that have raised their hand and said, hey, we want to be a part of the solution to bridge the digital divide. And in addition to our Comcast lift zones, Brilliant Detroit, they've been I guess the irony, they've been a brilliant organization to work with because of the way that they've been working on the ground. They have computers that are dedicated to residents who need to walk through this. They have dedicated staff that are willing to be able to assist people in that sign up process. In addition, our internet providers here have all agreed to really work with us on this. And so I've been very candid with the feedback and saying, hey, internet provider X, I'm not going to name anyone. Hey, internet provider X, a lot of residents are saying this. What are you all willing to do about that? And it's been immediate. Hey, we understand. We want everybody to take advantage of the subsidy as well. So let us help you. In addition to all this information that I'm sharing, and I'll definitely, if you all have questions, I have no problem going down a layer deeper. A lot of what we're doing right now is a pilot. And what I mean by that, I don't necessarily mean to say that this is a massive experiment. It's not that. It's more so the fact that when the Federal Communications Commission started operating this program, they did it with $3.2 billion. Now that seems like a lot of money. However, when I began talking about the qualifications, how many Detroiters qualify here, imagine that across the country. And so it's only $3.2 billion that's allocated. And I would never use only in $3.2 billion ever again. But in this case, it makes sense why I'm saying that. This money is not going to last forever. And this program is only going to last for the duration of how much money we have to be able to spend. Now, per our conversation yesterday with the FCC, we know we have minimum 60 days. And I believe we have more time than 60, but we have minimum 60 days for this program. So this isn't something that we should delay on and getting people signed up. This isn't something that we should say, oh, next month, well, when you have time, we'll be able to sit down. This is an urgent thing. The reason why this is urgent, it's not only because these dollars are running out, it's urgent because there's a policy win on the other side here. We, right now in Washington, have an opportune time to begin thinking about the digital divide and what truly is keeping people unconnected. In Detroit and in most of your large urban cities across this country, yes, the infrastructure does need to be improved, but that's not the chief concern, unless you want to look at social infrastructure. And the social infrastructure we're talking about here is the role that poverty is playing on sustained and prolonged technology access. You have families who might be able to get internet for a month or 2 months, and then next thing you know, they're outbilled, or they got to allocate bills somewhere else and money elsewhere, and next thing you know, they don't have internet anymore. Or so-and-so broke a computer and they can't afford technical support. This is an affordability and a poverty challenge that, quite frankly, we'll look at as if it's a technical issue. The digital divide isn't a technical problem. And so when we began looking at this as a policy win, they're going to judge cities like Detroit, Chicago, Philadelphia, a lot of our large urban cores across this country by way of our adoption rates. So how many people are actually using this subsidy? The federal government saying this is a free $50 subsidy. You all only had to walk through our process, walk through it one time. When you walk through it one time, we're going to take $50 a month off of your internet bill in perpetuity for as long as this program is a thing. And so what we need to be arguing for is a permanent subsidy. We will always have people who, and I don't want to necessarily, look like it's a doomsday thing, but there's always going to be people who need help. There's always going to be people who need aid. What we need to have is always a solution at the table, and that can't come from philanthropy. We're thankful for philanthropy. We're thankful for folks in our community who've been able to support us out of generosity, but generosity does not bridge the digital divide. Generosity allows us to convene partners. It allows us to be able to address this. But at the end of the day, we need sustained, permanent policy solutions. And the way that we're going to get that is by getting residents who most need this subsidy signing up to take advantage of this. And so I'm going to say that, we're doing a great job right now. Again, I shared where we rank nationally. That's a beautiful thing. I don't want to take that from anyone or any of our partners. But at the end of the day, if we have people who qualify for this subsidy, who are taking advantage of the subsidy because either A, they don't know about it, or B, they don't have the right support, that's a failing on our part. And so I just want to make it very clear to anyone on this call today, or who's listening, we need to have a very concentrated effort to signing residents up for this, because it's not just a good thing today, it's a great thing tomorrow, because it gives us the ability to deliver on our policy wins. To take a step back, I'm going to also express kind of like Connect313 in a broader sense, because for some of you who might not be aware, I know that last year we talked about it. We've evolved significantly since our time talking about this last year. We've had several initiatives that we've been able to take part in. Last December, we did a program called Connecting Seniors, where we are empowering seniors with telehealth resources. This year, we have a really strong focus on e-waste reduction, which means electronic waste. All of your old computers, your printers, servers, switchboards, that is through our Empowering Digital Detroit campaign. And the reason why that's important is because through that operation, one of our core community partners in Human IT, they're a nonprofit operating out of the Focus Hope warehouse. They actually take in that technology, they refurbish it, and then they distribute it to community partners and community members. And that allows us to sustainably tap into existing business processes and at the same time hiring Detroiters who are then being able to take part in this ecosystem in a way that is not necessarily them just receiving, but them also being on the front lines, being able to provide for their community and their neighbors. And that Empowering Digital Detroit campaign is actually going to end in October. So it's going live right now. You can either just Google Empowering Digital Detroit, or you can go on our Connect313.org website. We have some additional information there. Tomorrow, we are having another Connect313 community conversation. That's actually on our website as well. And those community conversations are allowing us to be able to talk at a bit of a higher level, while at the same time having much more voices at the table as other initiatives are spinning up. So me on the city side, we're definitely sitting core to a lot of this work. We recently received a very nice investment from the American Rescue Plan that we are earmarking for digital inclusion. And so as we begin moving forward, we're looking at ways that we can be complementary to existing investments. So if the federal government is already subsidizing internet access for residents who need it most, well, then we need on our side to be making sure that there's a human-centered component that we're building out a bit more on that, which is focusing on that tech support, so that if a resident can't go to one of our community centers or they don't feel comfortable talking on the phone to someone, that we can dispatch help to people. And so I think that what you're going to see in the future from Connect313 and from the city side is, as we're looking at the federal investments and federal programs that are coming down the pipeline, we are now being mobilized locally to always be able to be operationalized to take advantage of those, so we don't have to worry about 3 months standing something up for a 6-month subsidy. Lastly, I guess the last thing I'll share, and then I'll stop talking. I think that as we're moving forward, I can't stress enough, the value of community folks. We have a committee structure within Connect313. There are 5 committees. These were facilitated by a community election last December. And for those of you who remember last year, obviously a pandemic year, an election year, and then we also did our own community election. That was a very arduous process. But at the same time, through that working with the committees, we've been able to now be able to work in a more cohesive fashion, and we're thankful for that. And so what's happening the first week of October, just to keep on you all's radar, is Digital Inclusion Week. A lot of stuff that I'm talking about right now, we're going to be highlighting much more during Digital Inclusion Week. In addition to that, we want to invite community members out for that. And so we're actually preparing a slate of programs for you all to be able to engage in this work much more deeply, and to be able to have much more broader conversations about what does digital equity mean in Detroit, and what does digital empowerment mean in Detroit moving forward. Before I get to the digital empowerment stuff, I'm going to stop talking because I said a lot, and I look forward to any questions that anyone may have.
Yeah, thank you so much, Joshua, for enlightening us with all of this information. And we do have some questions here, especially about the emergency broadband benefit. So how long do the benefits of this program last?
So the benefits of this program last until the money is exhausted. And so this is where this program is a little bit interesting, because typically you'll see something that's saying, hey, it's a year or 6 months. For this one, however long and however well communities do, if we were actually all running a fantastic operation in every single community, this money would already be gone. Mm-hmm. But truthfully, there wasn't any community funding that was put into this program nationally. So a lot of the internet providers and members of Congress just, said, hey, local ecosystems, figure it out. And thankfully we are. But the FCC will issue a 60-day notice before the program is ending. So we have 60 days to realize if they know that, tomorrow the program's ending, then if we know in 60 days from now the program's ending, they're going to issue us a notice. We have not received that notice. So that's why I'm saying we have a minimum of 2 more months of this that we could be signing mm-hmm. people up for. But a maximum, I would probably argue, till the end of the year.
Yeah. And then do all broadband providers participate in this program locally?
All the broadband providers in Detroit do. Now, not every single provider across the country does, but in Detroit they do.
And so then how does it work? Do you directly receive funds each month, or is it part of your bill?
It goes directly to your internet bill. So the way that the program was constructed, the subsidy was actually issued to the internet providers. And so it's tied to your address. And so as you're uploading your household information, they will then verify you that you are indeed living there, that you indeed do qualify. And then that monthly discount is applied to your internet bill. And if you don't have internet, it's going to be applied to your future internet bill.
And then what I was going to say, so there were a couple of questions around this. If you're already a customer of a broadband company, can you apply?
Yes.
You don't have to be a new customer.
No. And I would argue, and I don't have the data on this, but anecdotally, I believe this is what it is. I would argue that more people are in our numbers and nationally are people who already have internet, who are just qualifying and taking off of that. I think it's going to be a little bit harder to reach the people who don't have internet whatsoever and then make them walk through this arduous process. And I think that's why we built our community model.
Sure. And then as far as that goes, if you sign up for you're eligible, you get the dollars. It's for any of your bills going forward. It wouldn't do anything to existing bills you already have.
No.
Okay. Just wanted to make that clear.
Yeah, no, and that's a great question, because you do have a lot of folks, especially here, who do have back pay. They have bills in excess in a way where I know that last year during the pandemic, you had some of your larger providers who are actually forgiving those debts.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe that program is going on, and if it is not a part of this program.
Sure. Now, are there other programs for low income households to enroll in after these benefits and to ensure they don't lose it? The broadband access, I know you were talking about the goal is to have this consistent experience and affordability with internet access.
Currently, right now, no, but I would also argue that a lot of these programs are being stood up this year. So like this emergency broadband benefit, it's funny that we're talking about this casually. Honestly, like if I were to go back 2 years ago, I'd be like, wait a second, hold on. You mean to tell me there's a subsidy for people who need internet the most, and it would make it almost free, if not free for them? And so I think like right now we're talking casually about this, but this went in effect in May, and it's July. And so I think that there are going to be other programs. This is this presidential administration's and FCC's administration's first year. It's not even over yet. And so, I don't have a doubt in my mind that within the infrastructure package, they, because the president has made a very clear statement on bridging the digital divide, but at the same time, right now, I think it's just a little bit early, and they're still doing programmatic construction, which is why you hear us trying to get in front of the FCC as much as possible, because as we're making our concerns heard, they're then taking those concerns back and then saying, okay, hey, in the future, we need to make sure we're adding funding to support community organizations. We need to make sure that we're not making this process 45 minutes and maybe 4 minutes. So that's why we're adding that feedback, because we know that there's going to be something else. We just don't know for certain what that is today.
Sure. And is any of this connected to the American Rescue Act funds and how those funds might be used?
Locally, that is the case, yes. And so for us, we've obviously been thinking a lot about how best to use these Rescue Act funds. One of the things that this program has really, really taught us locally is two things. One, the value of that call center. I can't state that value enough. The fact that we have a call center where any Detroit resident can call, and you're going to be able to get, how do I say this? Unbiased, unsold advice about what options might work best for you and what you qualify for. Because the alternative, and an alternative reality, which was last year, you call that one internet provider, they're selling you. And a lot of our residents aren't really going there to be sold. They're just asking genuine questions. They just need information to make a better decision. And so for residents who are getting upsold things that, quite frankly, they didn't need, that's something where the value of our call center now is like, So as we look at our rescue plan dollars, it's like, okay, making sure we have an operation like that sustained, it's critical. In addition to that, the actual tech support piece. And we learned this a little bit last year through the Connected Futures program with all the school district children, where our human IT partner within 6 months took over 30,000 tech support calls from families here. So we know there's a real need for tech support. And I think that as we even look at this program and the challenges and the frustrations that residents are having signing up, we need to be investing our Rescue Act dollars a lot more in that tech support piece, because it seems as though this administration is prioritizing internet access. And so, we can use our Rescue Act dollars to prioritize that as well. But at the same time, we're not going to cannibalize funding that's already on the table. And so for us, it's really looking at, as these federal dollars are coming down in programmatic ways, we want to use our Rescue Act dollars to enhance that experience that then is going to bolster additional user adoption. So that way we don't have to, again, I'm not paying for internet while they're paying for internet. So
sure. Yeah, that's a good point. And I, appreciate your thoughts on that. It sounds like there's a lot of learning opportunities to be had through this, and a lot of opportunity for our community in the future based on how well this program works and what we can learn from it too. Like you mentioned, the call center, the tech support, and things along those lines. So again, really appreciate you bringing awareness to this and letting people know how they can participate further. And so, there is some information here in the chat, but I am going to turn it back over to Andre. And thank you so much, Joshua.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Audrey, and thank you again, Joshua, for joining us today and for the great work that Connect313 Collaborative continues to do to get our community connected. Now, I want to take a personal point of privilege here and just say thank you to our awesome 211 team. If I had bells and whistles, I would be shouting for them and how they've been available. But I want to let you know, as a community, as a reminder, for anyone in our community who may be experiencing a need, including assistance with the impact of the recent flooding, our 211 helpline remains available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We maintain a running list of available services in our community and can connect you to the supports you need. You can also look up resources in your area by using our 211 resource database at unitedwaysem.org/211. Again, that's unitedwaysem.org/211. Have you heard about our virtual literacy fair? Parents, students, and educators are invited to join us August 7th. When? August 7th. Someone put it in the comments. August 7th for United Way's Summer Virtual Literacy Fair. Hear from experts on everything from boundaries and effective communication to literacy for your teenager. Register for the Summer Literacy Resource Fair at unitedwaysem.org/literacy fair. Again, register today at unitedwaysem.org/literacy fair. Now, if you've enjoyed what you heard today, you should join us next week at our What's the Word Wednesdays Town Hall. We'll be joined by a representative from the Federal Emergency Management Agency, better known as FEMA, to talk about help available to residents of Wayne and Washtenaw counties who were affected by recent flooding in our region. To see our previous town halls and to sign up for more email updates on upcoming town halls, please visit unitedwaysem.org/virtual town halls. I'll say that again, unitedwaysem.org/virtual town halls. The website is also included in the chat box. I'd like to thank everyone for tuning in today. We'll see you soon. Stay safe and continue to live united.